Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Tuesday. It's the second day of the week. And we have the dollar index selling down a little bit. You can see it there on the beta platform. It's pushing down, nothing major. You can see the daily yesterday was trying to get into the buy, but didn't make it. It was, half and half still floating around. We had a green. And today we're rolling over a little bit, nothing major. Let's just go show you what it looks like on the bigger platform. Whoop, getting these dings. Let's see what these dings are. Ding, 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 ding. Oh. All right. So. There's the dollar index on the big platform, and you can see right here. Where's that mouse at? Right there. You see that breaking down a little bit, and the algorithm has actually gone underneath the zero line again. Cool. Very cool. Weekly dipping, not the most exciting thing. It looks like this, this might be this zone, I guess you could call it right there, envelope, channel, however you want to rephrase it. When it comes to market technical analysis, this could be a channel. Do I expect to see something like that? Not particularly. Just because the Fed keeps on saying funny things, like eventually. They got a new word now. Don't you like how they just come up with another adjective, another word? So now they're saying inflation eventually will go down. And they're right. It will eventually go down. Now, will it be because of their policies? Not necessarily. Eventually somebody else will get in there, excuse me, and do it right, So eventually, yes, it will go down, and eventually it will not be them getting it down. It's just that somebody else will do it. So, that is the story. They took the word transitory and twisted and, choked it and made it sound like it meant something. In other words, they like what's kind of odd is at least when it said transitory, people were probably saying like, okay, transitory, how does that mean? Like it's transiting? It's going? Okay, yeah, I can relate to that. So when inflation was at 1.5% and then got to 2%, and we were like, uh-oh, something's wrong here. It's jumping like a child on a trampoline. And then it went to 2.5%. We're like, transitory? What are they talking about? It's almost doubled now. And it got to 3%, and no one's, everybody is saying it, but the Fed and the Federal Reserve Chair and, the Treasury Chair, Mrs. Yellen, who was head of the Fed at one time, and Mr. Biden are all around telling us it's transitory. Well, eventually is eventually. Transitory is transitory. Inflation is inflation. They love to twist those words. So eventually is now moving into the number one category. They're trying to say eventually it's going to go away. Eventually, the sun will set. Eventually, I will eat blueberries when spring and summer come into, into my time zone here. It's eventually. Eventually, yes, eventually. So that's where we're at now. It's the new word. You're going to start to hear it more eventually. I have to giggle. I don't know how else anybody else can look at it, but I got to giggle. Oh, let's get the chat line up there. Sorry about that, traders. I have the page up, but I didn't click on it. Let me do that. It's been 4 minutes, and I haven't had the chat line. There's Robin. So eventually I will go to the chat line. That's it. Yes, eventually. So, my way. So your way, yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's going to be possibly the new buzzword because I'm hearing it more and more from Fed people. It's eventually. Can you, just Don't you just want to shake your head and just say, what is up with these people? Eventually they'll go away. I can't wait for that. So that's the two, the two charts there. The big platform that we use every day and the beta that we are still writing code for. But at least you can see some of the work that beta is doing, and a lot of times it has some really good signals. So, it's very competitive with the big chart. We just need to get it to update a little bit faster. Once we get that, then boom, it's out the door. So, let's take a look at the euro. See what the euro looks like this morning. Let's see, where is it at? There it is. There is the euro. And you can see it tried to go into a sell, but it was a red and a green on the big platform. Let me see when I put Mr. and Mrs. Mouse right there. See it? Right there. It was green and red, red and green. So no, it dipped below but stayed. So we're still in the buy there. Weekly is trying to touch and go through the fast algorithm right there. So that's pretty good. This could be a sign of something. Just like when it breaks down below it, it's usually negative, and then as they both turn up, that's one thing. But here's another one where the fast starts to break down, and sure enough, the rest of the pressure. So a lot of times, if this would curve up over the next few days with this green, that could be a real good sign of some real buying coming in. In other words, they'll be less concerned about the eventual move in inflation. Eventually, it will go away. All right, now from there we go over to, I want to look at the bond. Let's look at the bond, because the bond's trying to act like it's, in other words, interest rates are trying to act like they want to do something in a better way. They're banging on the bottom end of this line here. Actually, this morning it was plus, and now it's not. So I'll just move that over there like that in case it jumps back into it. It was, when we sent it out, it was plus. It was trying to lift, and over the last about 10 minutes, I guess. Let's see if we can see a tick chart, see what happened to it. Let's see, right there. Yeah, so that is the bond, and it is eventually moving up, which means interest rates are moving down. But over the last, let's see, what's the time here? So somewhere around before the webinar started, it started to turn. But unfortunately, it was much higher. And on this is the European hours to start off with Frankfurt and London and Switzerland and Madrid and Amsterdam, everybody getting going there, And so that was it was up higher. When it's up higher, it means that interest rates are lower. That's what it means. And so we're doing it again. We're trying to go for that. But at the moment, they've knocked it down. Around 3 hours ago, out of nowhere, it just started to break down. We went into a sell here, and it just rolled south for a while until it did its little bounce there. And then it went back into the sell right there again. And then it jumped back into the buy right around in here somewhere. And it's been in that buy since. So, it eventually will be going up. And that eventually could be, this week, next week, 6 months from now, a year and a half from now, whatever. Eventually. I like that. Those cute little words they come up with. I think that's cool. All right. Now, from there, let's get back to the euro. And we'll go to look to, as you can see, the euro was moving up higher and then, hit the 107 and dropped. Let's take a look at the British pound. British pound went into the sell 3 days ago. It's gone down yesterday. But it didn't take out yesterday's low today. But it is trying to challenge the high from yesterday. You see the line, the green line is way down. Way down. It's pressuring here, but it's got that interesting curve going right now. We'll see what that means. Remember, it's got to get through here to get into the buy. Would be nice just to see it get through the manifold here, the negative manifold, and pierce possibly the the histogram, that type of thing, that to say, hey, I guess eventually it's going to go up. All right, and then we go over to the Swiss. Let's see what the Swiss is up to this morning. And there it is right there, the Swiss. Oof. Look how nice and tight that is in there. Tell them, any country that has a currency would love to have their currency looking like that. Just so nice and tight. It's a little high, of course, from the 80s, the low 80s. But, it's not bad. It's not at 101. And that's the way I look at it. The Swiss have done a good job of basically getting a grip on the inflation in their country, and they're doing the right things. So eventually Switzerland will be happy with their inflation. Taking a sip of water there. All right. From the Swiss, we slide over to the yen. Now, eventually, they'll figure it out in Japan about what is going to happen to this, this whole stagflation situation going on. And that's pretty much what it is. Now, they've been lifting the stock market up over here a little bit. Nothing big, but, just giving it a perk. I'm going to take a quick look at it. Look, see that? It's ever since I guess there must have been news that came out for the 830. So the insiders saw that and started buying it. Went into the buy right there. And it's jumped 12 points. That's pretty big. 12 handle move. And it's doing it there. Same thing. Strength and there. They're all doing the strength thing. It's all jumping. They be a jumping. We be a jumping. Yep, jumping. So, in the end result is that we have not had a collapse in the stock market as much as everybody was concerned. They were concerned that there was going to be some Middle East noise that had an effect on it, and we can take a peek at crude. Crude is kind of like it's like that oil company in Spain when we try to see what the flavor of or what the price action is in Europe. In this case here, we see the influence of the energy and the interest rates, and so far, the energy is pretty much down for the last week. Down from the 86s. Let's throw it onto the beta. You can be able to see it there for the moment, and there it is right there. Let's put the beta up on the screen again, and you can see there it's pressing down, and it tried to get into the buy yesterday and failed at it, and you can see here it's trying to turn and on the downside again, and here we are challenging the 80 area. So that's a good thing, because gas prices for our machines, for the automobiles and so forth, has really gotten expensive. Let's see. So we have done looking at the crude to try to get a flavor of the interest rate factor, stock market's lifting, kind of like that pressure from uncertainty drifting. We know that the Israelis are going to go into Gaza, or they're in Gaza. They're going to go and clean up the last 5 battalions of the Hamas. And so that'll probably scare the markets on some level. And so we're not looking for blowout rally. I can see more firming, I can see more strength. I think that overall the markets think that things are trying to move into a much more positive direction. There's a lot of cash on the sidelines, and it's going to stay there, but they are going to nibble every time they get down into I'm sure it'll be even a ton more if the S&P 500 break the 4,900 area. I got very close to it last time, and that's what we expected to see, and that's why we said it was like a dead cat bounce, and we're still seeing that dead cat bounce kind of kick out. That's where we're at the moment. And as time goes on, it will basically, stand, it'll be consistent. It'll be steady. and the market should firm. I guess once they start the last final removal of Hamas out of the Gaza. So, all right, now from there, we go over to. I guess we go back to the yen, right? Let's go see what the yen is doing. I believe the yen is, like I said, I think they're, it's very tight, and interest rates are kind of flattish. It is that wild slope we have. Let's put it up on the screen here. We got those interest rates kind of acting like they still want to make a lot of noise. Still a lot of uncertainty. Okay. And then from there, let's see, where do we go from there? Not my picture, but if anyone does. Oh my God. All right. So from there we go over to let's check out the great experiment, the Turkish lira. There's the Turkish lira right there. They're trying to, pushed into the sell there for a day, and now it's trying to climb back into the buy. The weekly that looked like it was going to finally give us a weekly sell after over half a year seems to be losing its momentum, and the pressure is on the upside. I believe this must have been a government policy that we just haven't heard about. I mean, that's the only way I can relate to it. That's the way it looks like to me, is that there's got to be something brewing there. They do things, and at times, they do things that kind of make us think, that, wow, maybe they finally figured it all out. I mean, when your currency goes from 1 to 36, that's the type of ruble stuff that went on. That's really freaky. But it doesn't tell us in the end what is in their heads. In other words, what is their government policy? What are they doing? I mean, they were giving out free puts over a year ago. It was wonderful. I thought they had finally got it figured out, but then they chose to discriminate who gets the free puts. It's like, what? Well, your son-in-law can have the free puts, but the manufacturer down the road can't have the free puts. I don't get it. So the twistedness of it all is always confusing with the euro Turkish lira. Now we'll see. It has that. Let's put it this way: if they went underneath the weekly and then they start to climb and get through this manifold, they're going to go for the 37s. It's going to be ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. All right, from there we go over to the South African Rand, and it seems to be parked itself up here on the top end of its range. It's been on an upwardly slope. We all would assume gold would be going down. Let's throw the gold real quick, and we can bounce back and forth. All right, there, and let's put the gold in there. There's gold. And gold now in the last 2 days is breaking down. From the 24 area down to the 23 area. So is that 23? Yeah, 23 and then 22. It's 100. These are $100 increments. All of a sudden, we're getting some big action out of this. Let's straighten that out again. So in other words, you can see here the South African Rand started off. Let's widen this, and we'll pull the date out of it so we can get a better flavor of it all. But we're talking that one big bottoming day in April 10th. So we're talking about 12 days back. And let's take a look at gold on April 10th. Here is April. We'll go like this with it. So April 10th was right. There's the 12th. And there it is right there. So there's April 10th. And as it was rising, which it should not have been doing, because why, traders? the South African rand was rising, so they don't normally rise together. And then it seemed to, this big spike up here about 3 days ago on last Friday. And then we go over to the beta, and you can see they had the same spike on gold. Not as big, of course, but it was a spike up into the 2400 area, another all-time high type of thing. And then it's these last 2 days have been pressured on the downside. And then when we look at the South African rand again, you can see it was still, it sold off that day, and then took off. That's the Friday right there, and then Monday and Tuesday they've been lifting it up again. Which basically says in my head, and the way we watch these products trade against each other, is that gold is trying to go down, and it has. It's dropped, almost over 100 points in the last few days from its all-time high. So the war / panic / run for the doors attitude is disappearing. Yes, disappear. Go away. Come back in May. All right. And this is, okay, yeah, so this is gold. We're looking at the metals at this point since we're at the South African rand. So let's check out silver. Oh, we'll leave the South African rand there and put silver up on the beta. And there's silver. You see silver has been moving down. That must be the April contract that it's expiring. So what we'll do is we'll switch over to the big screen and show you what they've been doing with the back month. Because we're following May when it comes to silver now. That's probably the April contract. You can see the bond there. Right there. There it is. There's the May contract. In the last 2 days it's been down. And, just nothing explosive, just down. I guess they'll challenge the 26. I saw an analyst, it was a fund, actually. It wasn't even an analyst. It was a fund who analyzes the research, And they were saying yesterday that this is the buying opportunity right now. This is what they wait for. Where, you get up into these high numbers and then they slam it down and then they step up and buy it, the fund itself. They've been averaging into it for a while. And that's so the gold buyers or funds that do the gold buying more than likely are going to keep an eye on that and keep on pressing in that direction. I'd imagine that's the way I see it. I'd be surprised if we didn't see that. It just has that enormous flavor to it that they want to. I think they want to take the stock market up because that's what they're paid to do, and the Federal Reserve is very comfortable at supporting that. So there's a lot of pressure for the market to go up, and once a little of the a third or a half of the uncertainty is removed, then it really turns into a better. Now, what else can we say about the silver? More than you can see there. Oh, I know what it was. He was looking at he was looking at the historic 9 ratio. So as far as he's concerned, gold should be. I think he said it should be up in the 50s. No, that can't be right. Yeah, I guess it could be. I was thinking to myself, I'm just happy that it got to the 30. I mean, this thing drags its feet. And the channel or range that silver can hold for 6 months or a year or more, eventually, maybe it'll get to 50 again. And that would be the all-time area. I guess the all-time high is around 53, 54. And so, we finally gotten, past the 25, with gold at 2,400. You would have thought it would have been in the high 30s. And finally it got there. They started reaching for the ratio, like the historic ratio. And that's what lifted it up. Now, I would believe that things are just going to be more... I don't know. I get a feeling that things are going to be calmer more than wilder. And so that should put the pressure on the selling. That's what I'm thinking. All right. To the next side of the adventure here. And that is... Let's see, what is that? That is the copper. And then from there we'll go to the platinum. Platinum is selling down. It's not even... I'll show you what platinum's doing right now. I mean, platinum is... Whew, right there. I mean, they're just... Ever since the spike about 2 weeks ago, it does, you know, and I've been saying it. I don't know how anybody has the guts to short that thing unless they own calls at the same time, because there's no way in the world that thing should be trading at a 55, almost a 60% discount to gold, especially when you try to buy it in the store and it's nowhere near the same. And that's the platinum. And only people that would have that attitude to do this would be the central banks, basically, just keeping it down, hurting it. No trading fund could survive with that type of stupidity. And then last but not least, right there's the copper. It is starting to reflect some weakness here. You see it's been in a weekly buy since the 370s, and it got up to the high is 455. So that's been a magnificent move. We all know China has problems. We all know China's behind copper. You know, it's used very as an important material over there. You know, it's treated like gold. So, you know, we watch this. We try to see if we can understand what's going on in China when we see this. We know, I mean, they're buying copper. We have to assume it's China that's buying a lot of the copper. And I imagine, too, these automobile companies that make, electric automobiles. You need copper for that. All right, and then, so that pretty much cleans up the metals. We'll go over to the energies. And there's, oil heading towards the low of the day. 81.07 with a low of 80.88. So it's about, what's that, 21 cents, 22 cents over the lows of the day so far. But you can see that they're playing with that weekly. And right before the April contract went out, it dropped underneath the weekly also. So it did that last week. Right now it's in the delivery mode at this point. I don't think the contract even exists anymore when it comes to trading. Let's take a look and see. Where are you? Right there? Right there. Let's see what it says. So, right now, the very front month is June, and April is gone. It's gone. And, looking back, I mean, there's a contango going on in the reverse now. So, like, June oil is 80.98, and July oil is 80.35, almost 60 cents lower. It is 60 cents lower. And then August oil is 79.65. That's 70 cents lower. And then September oil is 64 cents lower. And then what's interesting is September to October is 76 cents lower. So they keep on pushing it down now. It's going the reverse direction of all that hunger that's, concerned about the market there. All right, now from the, what we can do. We can we'll go over to the beta and put up the, where's it at right there? Let's put the beta up, and we'll put the North Sea oil on there, Brent there. As you can see, it's doing the same thing. It's banging on the 86 area. The Brent has had its problems. It seems to be the leader too in many ways. It broke down even faster than the West Texas Intermediate. And when it broke down, it broke down fast. You can see there's basically 7 days in a sell out of 8, and 10 out of 11. So there's a lot of pressure on the oil market on the downside. In other words, they're not worried as much as they were before. I guess when Israel bombed Iran, they didn't take out the oil market, so that's good. And instead, they took out IRG people, which is the smart thing. And what else we got going on here? I guess you could say that the oil market is, drifting. Maybe we'll see Brent back down into this area here, right here, between 84 and 82. I can see that becoming the area right there. And let's see, we're not far from it. We're at 86 now. And since the back months in oil, West Texas Intermediate are in the 79s, you could imagine ours getting that way too. All right, now from the Brent, we'll go to natural gas. NG, there it is. NG has been lifting, and it's the fourth day in a buy, and it's been showing good life in it. You can see that it closed last week in the weekly buy. We'll see tomorrow where it's starting this week from. And what else do we say about natural gas? Natural gas, it's clean energy, all that stuff. All these tree huggers are always whining about. I'm not sure why they keep on trying to outlaw it, because it seems to be the cleanest energy you can get. I guess you have to call it both clean and consistent. And Tesla today also reports after the bell tonight. That could be interesting. That could be wild and woolly. Wild and woolly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So from there, bang, bing, bong, boom. Let's see. Let's go over to. There's that. Let me just take a look at the natural gas on the big screen. There it is, right there. Trying to dip down today. That's for sure. You can see it how it's doing it here on the beta, but still green. See, it's trying to dip back down again. And then when we go over onto the big screen live today, you can see it's breaking down through the manifold, starting to show that weakness. Weekly's still not getting out of its own way. And you can see same thing over here on the beta. The weekly's 2 weeks now in a buy. Now. Let's tune in to the last way of looking at energy in the States here, or not in the States, but in this webinar, because this energy company I'm scrolling to right now, right there, is in Spain. And we saw some really damaging action in it the last couple of days. It's went into the buy here in the 20-ish, low 20-ish area, and has climbed to 24 in a matter of a week, like 8 days or something like that. So let's just emphasize it. It's been really not surprising, but there it is. So, it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and boom, it busted through 24. I was surprised that it got through 23, with the way the action is and the way the American natural gas is. It, wasn't really reflecting that type of demand, but Europe is already feeling very comfortable with the idea of showing that demand. All right. Let's see. Let's go over to, where do we go to? I guess we can go look at some of the international markets. Let's just go over to the big screen right now, right there. We'll just show you, go reverse a little bit here. Let's go take a look at the S&P 500. You see it seems to have parked itself up here in that high area there. And, we're looking at, you can see it's upticking. and the stock market, like I said, is trying very, very hard to lift, but it's so nervous with the action that is potentially out there. It's not that comfortable with it, and that's why we're seeing this little inching along here and there, and no major explosions. I don't expect to see big lifts coming out of this market. I mean, I just don't see it. And so you can see this is the intraday chart, and we're trying to climb back into the buy right there on the very short-term chart. See what they do. See if they go after the manifold, or this in this case here, it's the Bollinger Band, and our histogram has already gone after the manifold right there. All right. From there, I guess what we'll do is we'll go check out the international different products and see where they are at. Let's see if we can find these things. Maybe right there. Looking for something here on the machine. And we'll just go with that one for an opening, and we'll go for that one for all those charts sent. Okay, there we are. All right, now let's drift over to the let's see, where's that? Let's go drift over to the Japanese market, the Nikkei right there. Here we go. There's the Nikkei. You see it bottomed yesterday and lifted up. We're still in the minuses, and you can see the weekly. Oh, look at that big dive. So there's a lot of pressure there. They're like, I'm sure, like I've said, there's talk of how important it is. They want to hold that 152 area, and it obviously is blown through there to 154, basically saying, "Come and get me, come and get me. You think you can do something? Come and get me." Let's see. So from there, let's check the chat line, make sure no one's asking for anything. There you go. There's Janos. Hey, Janos, how long do you expect the rebound to last in the stock market? Only thing I see that's cloudy about it is the Hamas, the removal of the last 5 battalions of Hamas. I think that might shake the market up a little bit, but it's hard to say. That's why I think it's being lackadaisical. Also, it's waiting for that PCE report coming out on Friday. It doesn't seem like it wants to do a lot at the moment. I think I said it yesterday. I think it's like it's a seller strike, not a buyer strike, but a seller strike. And I think that the buying is soft because they know that the invasion, or not the invasion, they're already there. The completion of the war is in the south there, and they're trying to remove 1 million people, innocent people, out of the way. So, I would say that it's going to, kind of bounce and nibble its way up, because there's no reason for anybody to reach super hard. Could it get back to the in the 51s? I think so. I think it would get up into the 51s, but it's not doing it with any real blast off. That's today. At the end of the day, is the Tesla earnings. They want it. What they're really interested in, not the earnings as much, is what they're doing with the Model 2. They're concerned about the Model 2 and trying to get a flavor of what they're going to do. With are they going to keep the program or they're not? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And so that's that's really what's going on. That is because the Model 2 is going to be the robot one, the self-driving, and they think that they could sell them as cabs to cab companies all around America. This way, they don't have to hire anybody, and over years, it'll pay for itself. So that's what's, I think, in the back of the mind of the market. Let's see, not the Middle East. Meanwhile, someone bought up May 10th Microsoft 350 puts. Huh. Where's Microsoft at? Let's take a look and see if we can see where Microsoft is. I'd imagine Microsoft with the rest of the tech, are kind of, just kind of, they've had a fantastic run since October. They were up 28%. So, I mean, you got to take a profit somewhere. If you don't take a profit, you don't make money. And someone bought 400. It is not at all 400. This is a bloody strange thing. All right, let me go put it up on a chart somewhere. Let's go check and see. And I'm thinking I'm going to put it up on the beta too. MSFT. Alright, let's go with that. Wow. Alright, I'll check that out again. Let's see. Let's put it in there. Microsoft. Yeah, it's autonomous day. That's what everybody's thinking. It's autonomous day. And there's Mr. Softy. Let's do that right here. Add. And there. And right there. See. All right. And let's close that out. And let's put the weekly in there. And also at the same time give this a spin. And this will be your first view of the Microsoft right there. So Microsoft is, I see, 400 and change, lifting up a little bit today. Oh, no, that's, what is that? That must be yesterday. That's yesterday's quote. And let's see what it looks like here. Oh, wrong one. Let's go on to the big screen. The big screen. Really big shoe. There it is, Microsoft. Close. There we go. Let's show it to you there. It's second week in a sell. How about that? So it's been in a sell. I had no problem getting in a sell right up in here in that 415 area, 418 area. And it's been in this. Let's grab this sell right there. It's been in the sell since there. Trying to lift up a little bit today. 404. You see the weekly. Let's see if we can find the weekly lines. Is there any weekly lines? No weekly lines. All right, let's add a weekly line. Let's go like that. There we are. And you can see there, that's the daily. It wasn't a weekly buy. It's not bad, Went into the weekly buy, I guess. It's back in here. It was in the sell for all this. Back in the 340 area. Got close in here to play with the sell, but didn't succeed. There's the buy right in there. There we are. And then let's put the sell in there. Because this is definitely a popular product. It's become one of the more powerful products. It's very impressive. Okay, so the sell's there. And then what we can do is we can move some of these lines around like so. Grab them. Well, that can stay, I guess. Let's see. That's legit. That was a sell there. The buy was a buy right there? Yeah, the buy was right there. And then went into the sell here again. And then let's see, I guess move this buy over like so. And I guess we can put that in back in right there. Yep, and that's the action we're seeing in Microsoft. And I guess, it's what, Tesla? Let's go take a look at the Tesla. Since you mentioned it. There's Tesla right there. And it's been in a sell since the 170-ish area. And it's been in a weekly sell since the 180-ish area. 85. What was that, 190? 180 area. So up in here it went into the weekly sell. That is the bloody strange thing. I know. Plenty of strange stuff going on. It is eventually going to change. Eventually we will see, Microsoft, or we'll see Tesla eventually go up. Where eventually is hard to say. But eventually. That's the Fed's new word, eventually. We should use that today in our title. Eventually, buyers will buy. They come up with some fun words. Transitory, eventually, sticky. About this week, what for Microsoft? Let's go take a look. It's in the sell. Let's see, where's that? There it is, right there. And we widen this out. This week, it's been in the sell. That's interesting today. It's trying to lift up, but it's in the weekly sell too for the last couple of weeks. So eventually, nothing moving now. Until PCE, and I would say a combination of all of it at this point. I think, like I said, I think it's a seller strike. I don't think the sellers are interested in selling at the moment, and depending on how. The removal of what's it called, Hamas, out of South Gaza. That'll basically help keep the markets have a little bit more coherent direction. Also, it's interesting. You're looking for some action. Here's the some action at the moment. It's right there. It's just, but even there, the S&P has been lagging. Went into the buy in the 67.5, 68 area, and it's gone as high as 69. And it's not exactly, 69.50, 69.75. It's not exactly running hard. It's just there's not a lot of action in it. So, yeah, more than likely, you're taking off Friday, right? So you'll miss the PCE. You'll be back on Monday? It is a nothing morning. And so we called it a dead cat bounce a couple of days ago. Yeah. Meow meow. Dead cat bounce. Meow 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 meow. All right, let's go take a look at some of the world markets. See how they're all doing. Let's jump over to, we saw what the Nikkei did with, where's that there? There's the Nikkei on the beta. And there it is there. It's kind of just down a little bit today. Still in the sell. The weekly, still in the sell. Then from there we drift over to the next action we see over in that region of the world, and there's the Kospi in South Korea. I am just thinking, how will this week turn out with Tesla and Meta earnings? Well, one thing's for sure, and that is Tesla. It's not the earnings as much as what they're going to do with the number, what they call it, Tesla number 2 car. the self-driving car. If they're holding on to it, then they're calling it they're calling today self-driving Tuesday. That's why, because everybody's looking for that information. Self-driving Tuesday. Yeah, self-driving Tuesday. All right, now let's put there's the Kospi. Is that the Kospi? Yeah, that's Kospi. And it's been moving up the last couple of days, showing some strength and sliding into the buy yesterday, and but still in that weekly sell. From there, we'll drift over to. I understand they had more earthquakes in Taiwan. There we go. There's Taiwan. Second week in a sell. It's been 7 days in a sell, and you can see here it's just been sliding down. From there, yeah, what's next? Let's go take a look at the Nifty 50. Let's see, Nifty 50, right there. It's the third day now in a buy. 3 days in the buy, and the weekly is trying to jump back into the buy too at the same time. Actually, it hasn't come out of it went into the buy 2 weeks back, and it's still in the weekly buy. From there, boom, boom, boom. Let's take a look at the all ordinaries. Again, you can see that's been in a sell, and the last 2 days we've been in a daily buy. So it's trapped in that neutral thing. It's off its highs of a couple hundred points. And in my head, I'm trying to think, what should we label today? What should we call today? And now, as I'm thinking about it, anybody wants to chime in, be my guest. Let's go to the next product. Let's see. Let's see let's see the Hang Seng. Let's see what the Hang Seng is doing. The Singapore exchange here. You can see that's 5 days in a buy. So they've come off this low really nice. Went into the buy there. And it's acting well. In a weekly sell, though, that's the problem. Not counting all the stories we're always hearing. When it comes to a title, what do we call this particular webinar today? I guess the Fed's new word. Something like, let's see, Fed's new word. Eventually. How do we spell eventually? They come up with some whack ideas, don't they? Eventually. And then let's just go over and put the DAX up there while I'm doing my guessing of what my title's going to be. There it is there. You can see the DAX is second day in a buy now, and the weekly is still in a sell. You see the French market, 5 days in a buy from here, and 2 weeks in a sell. Again, a lot of, like I said, it seems like it's a selling strike. In this case here, the FTSE is going up after its all-time highs again today. 3 days in a buy, and the weekly has been in a buy for 8 weeks now. And then from there we'll go over to take a look at the U.S. Yes, right there. There's the S&P 500. It's trying to lift up. You can see the weekly's buried deeply below. Let's see right there. You can see we're trying to get into that buy, and it's green and all that. It's showing legitimate, a legitimate action. Let's see what this is. Let's see. Eventually. Eventually. There it is. In the end, especially after a long delay, dispute series patterns eventually. What is the full meaning of eventually? What is the full meaning of eventually? In the end. Okay. So today's going to be Fed's new word, eventually. That's going to be the title today. I like how we can get away with beating things up, beating the Fed up. I mean, they just do so many stupid things anymore. It's so easy to pick on them. Eventually. TU. Eventually. There it is, right there. That's going to be the... It's supposed to be new. Right there. Let's see. Let's see. Eventually is Fed's word. And that's the title. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. There's the Tech 100. It also is trying to show, but no green dot. And you can see the daily's been in a sell for a while there. Weekly, the same thing. And then we'll look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's showing a second day in a buy, going on a third day now. That's been interesting. You know, the weekly's buried deeply. Maybe that thing turns really quickly over the next 2 days. And we have the... Let me show you what's going on with the S&P, too. It's still ripping along. You know, a little bit more nibbling, a little bit more buying. All right, traders, we're out of here. Eventually, we all are. All right, this is Doc from North America saying happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Really, seller's strike sounds better. That's exactly what it really is. And eventually is Fed's word. Indeed. Ta-ta for now.